So we're here to solve this clever Nurikabe variation. It has one key observation to make at the start, which is these interior clues, which are all 5s. If they were real and not false, they would end up making these cross shapes, and every other clue that cross shape touches will have to become ocean. That's actually a pretty strong constraint when we see it in practice, so we'll keep that in mind as we get going here. Just as in some of the earlier Nurikabe puzzles in this week, it's important sometimes to recognize the blocks of open 2x2 space that will be tough to reach. A cell like this might be reached, but only by this 8 clues, so we know for sure the 8 clue is used. None of these can get into that space. A cell like this can only be reached by something like the 7 clue. And it's not that I know it's exactly this upper right cell, it could be any of these cells, but some island has to get down to here, so let's sort of sketch these in at the start. In this corner, the 4, the 6, this other 4 might be able to reach down, so I can't say as much there. In this space, the 8 can come over, or either this 5 or 6 can come up, but what we're going to actually see is that we probably need to have one of these clues to keep enough islands on this right side. But let's take the fact we know these 2 are for sure island clues. That means this 5 can't be an island clue. We talked about the cross shape. If it were a cross shape, this island would touch that island. Similarly down here, these 2 clues, which are right near the 7, would cause instant cancellation. Now let's come back to these 2 clues and notice that if either of these 5s is an island, it's going to come up and cancel them both out. If these are both canceled, then the 8 has to come across to be the full island. This will become ocean, this will become ocean. We're going to end up with a scenario where we have no islands can get into this region. We have a blocker with this 1, but like this 2x2 oceans area will become a huge issue. All that is to say is that at least one of, if not both of these, are actually going to be island clues, and if at least one of them is an island clue, neither of these interior 5s can be an island clue. And this finally gives us the insights to which island is there in the middle. There has to be one of these 5s that is an island. It's this one on the far left that is the one that actually is kept. This clears out a whole lot of lies around it. We now have the start of this 7. It can use as many as 6 cells to get here. Its 7th cell could be up here. This 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 can get as far as here. So these 2 cells in row 6 can no longer be reached by any potential island. They have to be ocean. Similarly, if I actually count this cell can't be reached. And so to fill this out, the only efficient path that uses 7 island cells is the one I just drew. And fill in all the space, shade around it. You need to get an island cell around this 2x2 block. That's going to be this one to this 4. We have ocean that's looking a little bit isolated. This 8 has to efficiently reach over to these, so it is going to come straight across. This won't be used. That's the end of this island. Shade around it for the rest. Coming into this corner, this is an island cell. We don't know if it's this 4 or 6 that get used, but whatever it is, it's got to reach down to here as well, and then recognizing the 4 is a very tight reach to this, can't take this. We quickly see it has to be the 6 that does something like this. Ocean needs to get around this island, so it has to do something like so. That finishes the look of this total clue. Here we have an island cell similar to down here, where it blocked off the option for this 4. If this 5 is the one that's used and not the 6, it can no longer get all the way up to this corner if that's used. So what's going to be the case is the 6 is coming over. It's got to get to the top. For count of clues, it doesn't use this cell, so finish out that observation. It needs to take one of these cells in this 2x2. That gets us to here. We need to take at least one of these cells in this 2x2, so this 3 is still an island. Let's take one more. Shade and finish this puzzle. It's actually not too tricky if you recognize a few things, the reach of these large islands, which is important, and then how these middle clues, if they are used, form a very specific shape. And so if you get all those seeds together, and this walkthrough pointed those seeds out really quickly up front, then it's a good Nurikabe exercise of reaching to challenging points, fitting in islands, getting around islands, and is really elegant puzzle for this guest contribution. So really happy to have it. Hope you learned a little bit about how to look ahead in Nurikabe puzzles, and we'll see you again soon.